During the chaos of the early years of the Second World War, a small brown bear cub was discovered in the snowy wilderness of Iran, a survivor of a brutal attack that had claimed the life of its mother. The cub, barely more than a few months old, had been abandoned and was trembling in the cold, surrounded by the echoes of a world at war. It was here that the lives of humans and animals converged in one of the most unusual military stories of the 20th century. This cub would soon become known as Wojtek, the bear who would serve in the Polish army and fight alongside soldiers in some of the harshest conditions imaginable. The story began with a unit of Polish soldiers who had been displaced after the fall of Poland in 1939. Forced to retreat and regroup, these men found themselves in the Middle East, far from home, trying to maintain their cohesion and morale amidst the turmoil of war. The sight of the tiny bear, wandering aimlessly and in distress, immediately struck a chord among the soldiers. Someone jokingly suggested, perhaps he could join our ranks? But it was more than just humor that drove them to take the cub under their care. Wojtek quickly became more than a mascot. He became a companion, a symbol of resilience and hope in a time of despair. Caring for a bear in the midst of military operations was no small feat. The soldiers improvised a routine that allowed the cub to grow strong and healthy. They fed him condensed milk and whatever scraps they could spare, often taking turns to ensure he received attention around the clock. Despite the scarcity of resources and the harsh desert environment, Wojtek thrived. He developed a remarkable bond with the men, responding to their calls, mimicking their behaviors, and even learning to understand the rudimentary commands used in camp. His playful antics offered a brief respite from the constant stress of war, bringing laughter and a sense of normalcy to men who had seen far too much suffering. As Wojtek grew larger, his presence became more than just a comfort. It became an integral part of the unit's identity. Soldiers began to take pride in the bear's growing size and strength, joking about his ability to carry heavy loads or perform tasks alongside them. They taught him simple routines. He would follow them during marches, mimic lifting and carrying motions, and eventually even participate in exercises designed for the troops. There was something both surreal and inspiring about seeing a massive bear, normally a creature of forests and mountains, moving in unison with trained soldiers, carrying crates of supplies as if it were just another member of the unit. By the time the unit moved north toward Italy, Wojtek had become fully accustomed to military life. The Polish army was officially reorganizing under British supervision, and the bear was formally enlisted as a soldier, an unprecedented but practical decision. To maintain regulations regarding transport and logistics, Wojtek was given a rank and an identification number, ensuring that he could be shipped alongside his fellow soldiers without bureaucratic complications. His official designation was sergeant, a title that carried not just symbolic weight, but also a recognition of his invaluable contribution to the unit. Wojtek's role in actual combat was equally extraordinary. During the grueling Italian campaign, the soldiers of the Polish II Corps faced relentless artillery fire, treacherous terrain, and the constant threat of enemy ambush. Supplies were often scarce, and the need to move ammunition quickly to the front lines was critical. Wojtek, now fully grown and extraordinarily strong, proved to be an asset in these dire circumstances. He would pick up boxes of ammunition and carry them across difficult terrain, demonstrating not only physical strength, but also an astonishing understanding of the soldiers' needs. Witnesses recalled the sight of the bear trudging steadily under the weight of heavy crates, his fur matted with dirt and sweat, his expression focused as if he fully grasped the importance of the mission. The presence of Wojtek also had a profound psychological effect on the soldiers. Amid the horrors of war, the bear's unwavering loyalty and unorthodox heroism provided a rare source of morale. He drank beer with the men during celebrations, often with remarkable moderation, and even learned to imitate some of the soldiers' behaviors in a humorous, endearing way. Letters sent back home by soldiers frequently mentioned Wojtek, not just as a curiosity, but as a brave comrade who had faced the same dangers as they did. In a time when humanity often seemed absent, Wojtek represented a bridge between the familiar comforts of life and the brutal realities of battle. As the Polish II Corps advanced through the rugged mountains and sun-scorched valleys of Italy, Wojtek became a familiar sight on the battlefield. Unlike other soldiers, he did not shrink from the chaos of war. He followed the troops closely, moving with a surprising degree of awareness, and in moments of extreme danger, he often seemed to instinctively understand where he was needed most. Reports from soldiers described the bear calmly standing amidst gunfire, his enormous frame providing both a physical presence and a psychological boost to men who had seen friends fall around them. In many ways, Wojtek was more than a mascot. He was a living emblem of courage and steadfastness. One of the most remarkable aspects of Wojtek's wartime contribution was his role in transporting artillery ammunition. During intense battles, the supply lines were constantly under threat, and the soldiers often struggled to move heavy crates of shells up treacherous slopes. Wojtek, fully grown and immensely strong, would carry crates that even the strongest men found challenging. His movements were deliberate and careful, as though he understood the danger inherent in dropping a box of explosives. This extraordinary ability did not go unnoticed. The soldiers often recounted that the bear worked tirelessly, without complaint, and with a focus that rivaled their own. In some instances, it was said that he carried multiple boxes at a time, straining under the weight yet refusing to falter, earning the admiration and affection of everyone around him. Beyond his practical contributions, Wojtek also became a source of unique entertainment and comfort. In the quiet moments between battles, soldiers would engage with him in playful activities, allowing them to momentarily forget the grim reality of their surroundings. He was known to perform tricks, mimic the gestures of the men, and even drink from their bottles during celebrations, all in a manner that seemed to earn him respect and camaraderie rather than mere amusement. Letters sent to families back in Poland and accounts written after the war consistently highlight Wojtek's ability to lift spirits, reminding everyone that even in the darkest times, moments of joy and connection could be found. Wojtek's fame spread beyond his immediate unit. Allied soldiers from different regiments often came to see the bear, curious about the creature who had been officially enlisted as a soldier. Photographs were taken, articles were written, and Wojtek became something of a legend, a living story that symbolized resilience, loyalty, and the strange humanizing aspects of war. For the soldiers of the Polish II Corps, however, Wojtek was not merely a legend. He was a comrade, a partner in the shared struggle for survival, and a constant reminder of the bond that could exist between humans and animals, even amidst violence and uncertainty. Perhaps the most significant moment of Wojtek's wartime service came during a critical battle near Monte Cassino. The Polish II Corps was tasked with supporting the assault on heavily fortified enemy positions. The battle was brutal, with waves of artillery fire, machine gun bursts, and relentless enemy resistance. In the midst of this chaos, Wojtek once again proved his worth. Soldiers recalled seeing him carry crates of ammunition up steep, muddy inclines, navigating trenches and debris with a precision that seemed almost instinctive. His presence not only relieved the soldiers of an enormous physical burden, but also provided a psychological anchor, a symbol of endurance in the face of overwhelming odds. At the conclusion of hostilities in Italy, Wojtek's military career did not end quietly. Recognizing his remarkable service and the loyalty he had shown throughout the conflict, the Polish army formally promoted him to the rank of sergeant. This was not a mere ceremonial gesture, it was a reflection of the deep respect the men held for him. Wojtek had earned a place in their unit not through words or strategy, but through consistent, tangible acts of courage and strength. His story, like those of countless soldiers, was a testament to the unpredictable ways in which heroism could manifest during war. After the war, Wojtek faced a new challenge, finding a home. The soldiers he had served alongside were often dispersed, sent to different countries or demobilized, leaving the bear without the familiar faces he had come to rely on. Thanks to the efforts of his devoted comrades, Wojtek was eventually brought to Scotland, where he spent the remainder of his life in relative comfort at a zoo. Even in this new environment, he remained an emblem of wartime camaraderie. Visitors would marvel at the bear who had carried ammunition in battle, and soldiers who had served with him would visit, reminiscing about the incredible journey they had shared. Wojtek lived out his days peacefully, yet the memories of his extraordinary wartime service continued to resonate, a reminder of the enduring bonds between humans and animals forged in adversity. Wojtek's story remains one of the most remarkable animal stories in military history. It is a tale of courage, companionship, and unexpected heroism, illustrating that even in times of immense suffering, acts of loyalty and bravery can take the most surprising forms. For the Polish soldiers, Wojtek was not simply an animal. He was a symbol of their resilience, a living testament to the strength and warmth that can emerge even amidst the chaos of war. Even after Wojtek settled into his new life at the Edinburgh Zoo, his legend refused to fade. The bear who had marched through the battlefields of Italy carrying ammunition and sharing the hardships of war alongside human soldiers became a symbol not only of bravery, but also of the extraordinary bond that can exist between humans and animals. Veterans of the Polish II Corps frequently revisited the zoo, seeking comfort in seeing him again and sharing stories with younger generations about the adventures of their unusual comrade. These gatherings transformed Wojtek from a remarkable wartime participant into a living memory of a shared struggle, a tangible connection to the past that people could see and touch. The story of Wojtek also spread far beyond the immediate circle of those who had known him personally. Newspapers and magazines published articles celebrating his unusual service, and his fame reached audiences across Europe and even in North America. Illustrations, photographs, and later documentaries highlighted the bear's unique role, capturing both the imagination and admiration of the public. Wojtek was often portrayed not simply as a bear, but as a soldier in his own right, a reminder that courage and loyalty can take forms that defy conventional expectations. In classrooms and history books, his story was used to teach lessons about perseverance, the human-animal bond, and the extraordinary circumstances that arise in times of conflict. For the soldiers who had served alongside him, Wojtek's legacy carried a deeply personal significance. The shared experiences of danger, deprivation, and occasional triumph had forged a bond stronger than that of mere companionship. In letters and memoirs, veterans recalled how Wojtek had been a source of comfort during moments of fear, a provider of practical assistance when heavy supplies needed moving, and a symbol of continuity amidst the chaos of war. His antics, his strength, and even his playful imitation of soldiers' gestures became cherished memories, stories retold countless times as a reminder of resilience and loyalty. In many ways, Wojtek's life illustrated a fundamental truth. Heroism is not limited to humans, and acts of courage and service can emerge in the most unexpected forms. Over time, Wojtek's story inspired public monuments, artistic depictions, and commemorations in both Poland and Scotland. Statues of Wojtek were erected in places significant to his life, including his birthplace in the mountains of Iran, the training camps where he first joined the Polish soldiers, and the city of Edinburgh, where he spent his final years. These monuments serve as more than mere reminders of an extraordinary animal. They honor the spirit of the soldiers who fought alongside him, the sacrifices they made, and the unexpected moments of warmth and humanity that punctuated the horrors of war. Visitors often stop before these statues in quiet reflection, struck by the remarkable narrative of a bear who became a sergeant and a symbol of courage. Even today, Wojtek's story resonates with audiences because it captures something fundamentally human. War is typically associated with fear, loss, and destruction, yet the tale of a bear marching into battle alongside soldiers introduces a narrative of hope, resilience, and the enduring power of friendship. Schools, military history enthusiasts, and writers continue to share his story, emphasizing the ways in which bonds can be formed under extreme circumstances and how extraordinary individuals, human or animal, can rise to meet unimaginable challenges. In museums and exhibitions dedicated to World War II, Wojtek often features prominently, not as a footnote, but as a vivid example of the unpredictable and remarkable nature of wartime experiences. Wojtek's presence in popular culture has also endured through literature, art, and even music. Children's books recount his adventures in a playful, accessible manner, while documentaries explore the historical realities behind the legend, balancing the whimsical elements with the grave context of global conflict. Artists have depicted him carrying ammunition through rugged Italian landscapes, drinking beer alongside soldiers, and standing tall amidst chaos, capturing both the absurdity and the profundity of his life. Each retelling reinforces the duality of Wojtek's legacy. He is both a literal participant in wartime efforts and a symbol of the resilience, loyalty, and unexpected heroism that define the human experience. Ultimately, Wojtek's story transcends the boundaries of species, time, and geography. It serves as a reminder that even in moments of darkness, unexpected sources of strength and companionship can emerge. And the bear who began life as a vulnerable orphan cub lost in a snowy wilderness became a soldier, a comrade, and a hero. He exemplified courage and loyalty in a manner that defied convention, leaving behind a legacy that continues to inspire admiration and wonder. For the soldiers who loved him, the historians who documented his life, and the public who marvels at his feats, Wojtek remains an enduring emblem of the extraordinary possibilities that exist when kindness, courage, and resilience converge in the most unlikely of forms. Through his life and service, Wojtek left an indelible mark on history, not just as an amusing anecdote, but as a story of hope, loyalty, and bravery that continues to resonate across generations. In remembering Wojtek, people are reminded that heroism comes in many forms, that bonds can transcend language and species, and that even in the darkest of times, moments of humanity and courage can shine through, embodied in the unlikeliest of warriors, a bear who became a sergeant,